It's good to be back on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be going over the decades worth of information in the last 2 weeks that we've got from uranium. News, black swan events, we're talking about golden swan events, some major news for next week. No one's really talked about it. I think I'm the first person that actually talked about this, and I see big things happening with uranium, the overall market. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's been going on in my life, some great things with investing, and we're going to touch on that. But like I said, always hit the like and subscribe button if you want more videos like this, especially uranium. The more likes this video gets, the more videos I'm going to make because you guys like them, obviously. This was the hearing specifically. You can watch it as well. ENR, it was on the 17th. The most bullish 1 hours ever of uranium, ever. Decades worth of things said. They said uranium, I think 49 times in the first 30 minutes.
Last week, President Biden followed the lead of Congress and finally banned the imports of Russian oil, Russian natural gas, and coal. But he did not ban the imports of Russian uranium to the United States. Russia is our third largest supplier of uranium, meeting 16% of U.S. demand. I believe we need to eliminate our dependence on Russian uranium, and I introduced legislation earlier this week to do just that. We also need to jumpstart American uranium production. This includes mining, conversion, and enrichment services. In December of 2020, Congress gave the department $75 million to establish a strategic uranium reserve. The Department of Energy has yet to purchase uranium from U.S. producers, and I believe we need that action now. If confirmed, Dr. Huff's first order of business should be to work with the department's National Nuclear Security Administration to accelerate these purchases. We also need immediate attention to develop an American supply of high-assay, low-enriched uranium. This is the fuel needed for advanced nuclear reactors, like TerraPower's Natrium reactor, which will be built in my home state of Wyoming. It is also needed for X-Energy's advanced reactor in Senator Cantwell's home state of Washington. There are only two sources of high-assay, low-enriched uranium in the world: Russia and the U.S. Department of Energy. We can't allow America's advanced reactor developers to be dependent on Russia. So I intend to introduce legislation to first ensure the department is taking the steps necessary to establish domestic enrichment, and second, to make DOE produced high-assay, low-enriched uranium available. It's the only way to avoid dependence on Russia. Dr. Huff, if you are confirmed, I hope we can work together on this legislation. I look forward to hearing your testimony today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So as you can see, very bullish outlook for uranium. I've been really swing and day trading the market the last few weeks, especially with this volatility. You know, the overall NASDAQ dropped 20% this year, just year to date, and it's back up a little bit, but still down 12%. But I've been really trading the overall market, especially uranium. And we're going to go into what I've been looking at, and the whole thesis for uranium really changed last week. And as of right now, I started the World Stock Investing Championship, and I really didn't trade too much because it was so volatile the first couple months. I just really started getting back into this swing and day trading that I've been doing for really the past decade. Really the last update in this, the World Stock Investing Championship, I was about 7%. This was back in February, but I've since jumped up unofficially right now to second place. And that's just because I started trading again. Now, I entered late last year, so I probably would have got top, I think 5 last year. Same thing, trading uranium. I didn't trade as aggressive last year though as I did in 2020, which I did really well. But like I said, this is really what I've been doing the last couple of weeks, trading the market. I've been in the Discord constantly, pretty much 24/7, getting little sleep. There's been so many black swans with uranium, and we'll talk about those, but there's some really good upcoming news I'm going to talk about. But I wanted to let you guys know, it's great. I'll be jumping here to second place in the overall world at 300. These are some of the best investors in the overall world. But remember, there's been a lot of people the past couple of years doing really good in the markets when the markets are up. But everyone's a genius in a bull market. You've heard it before. And this is where I really shine, a contrarian investor, especially the swing trading. The volatility in uranium has just been insane. So like I said, I started this account. If you really want to know, this was back in January 1st. You start this out, it's cash. It started out more than $250,000, but less than $1.5 million. And since I've had some 6-figure profit days, swing trading and day trading, just in the last few weeks, especially, The account is up actually 6 figures as well, over 6 figures. So I will tell you that, but it's a great thing. So just letting you guys know, that's where I've been. There's been a lot of great trades, especially in uranium. We look at uranium today. You can see a lot of the uranium stocks hard down, especially the big market cap ones, just a few percent. Nothing too crazy. The overall market is down as well, but we saw commodities just run up in the past day, up again, oil, things like that. But there are more scares, in the market. So the uranium stocks are going to continue to be volatile. That is why with that 50% cash everyone made fun of me for back in October, November, selling at those peaks into September. I wanted this cash because I knew the market. I've been watching the market forever, and I thought that this correction would come. And unfortunately, it happened with the war. I really didn't obviously want that. Nobody wants that. But that's where what's been going on. Some major bullish things for U.S. uranium. Just decades worth of news really to put out there. Now, the big thing with uranium is it was not a part of this domestic critical mineral list yet. But this is just something I just remembered and checked. And guess what? Next week, there is actually a hearing, the NRC. And this is very similar to that Westwater Resources run. If you watch my channel back in 2010 or 2020, you know that we ran 1,800% when I got in that stock, about $1.50, $2. And it ran to 1,850 in less than a week, because graphite was actually added to the critical mineral list, and there was an EO by the president. And we're possibly going to have the same thing with a lot of golden swans with uranium. If they ban Russian uranium imports, that enrichment, it's just going to be big. We're going to see a lot of long-term contracts happening. I think it's already actually starting to happen. We're at a 11-year high in, the spot market. We're also at a 6-year high within the actual, SWU market. So that's big, $75 on the ask. And, I really do think that we're going to start to see some big moves. And here's one thing I want to show you guys. I've been in here. This is the Discord. So this is where I pretty much am, like I said, 18, 20 hours a day. This is my Bloomberg terminal. I call it my uranium Bloomberg terminal. Keep everyone updated. Some amazing people, traders in there, heads of industries. I mean, literally, there's like brain surgeons, pro traders that have been trading for 20, 30 years in there as well. So get a lot of great information out there. But I have built this past couple of years. You can search any uranium post. I have things, all different types of things being posted in there every pretty much couple minutes, sometimes every second, if we're getting a lot of news flow in automatically. So you'll get that before anyone else gets it. And I do have a paywall. It's $20 a month on the Discord, and it's really to keep out trolls. There's been a lot of weird people trolling. And like I said, with trading, that's what I do for a living. This thing, I don't sell courses. I've told people this before. I don't sell courses. This is something that I did put money and effort into. And just as you probably wouldn't give me whatever your trade is for free, 100% every day, I'm not going to give that out there for free. There's, like I said, there's countless information that you're going to be able to search, years of my uranium data that I put in there. We really haven't went over some of the crazy things with uranium. I mean, we are now at $60 again. And that was really my breakout point. And I've said it, that the fundamentals are coinciding with these technicals, and that's phenomenal. This, back in May of last year, I was saying that Sprott was probably going to have this record volume. We're going to see these record runs. And we did. Everything, it's even more than 50 million, I think, pounds now that Sprott's got. And the record back then was 43 million when we had that run up with Fukushima. Now, the same thing's going to happen if we get this critical minerals list added, with uranium added to it. We're going to get Russian uranium imports. Those are going to be banned possibly from Russia or from the U.S. import side. We're not going to be able to import those. Now, we'll talk about a little bit later about why certain utilities have hedged themselves, so it's not going to hurt the industry. And it's actually good, obviously, for America for that. It's going to be the ones that did not plan for this. Now, energy commodities were up big today. We had a big run in energy commodities. These are just some of the things I've been throwing out there. I throw all this information, like I said, before in the Discord, and then later on I'll post it on Twitter. It takes a lot of time to do these videos because I don't just throw up a video and a random thumbnail. I want it to be good. People are going to look back at this years down the road, and I want it to be good. I don't want pumped out stuff out there. So that's why I haven't been posting as much. But if you guys like this video, if it gets a lot of likes, then it'll tell me I should make more of these. But tomorrow, there's going to be 400 more individuals that are going to be sanctioned individually on this Russian sanction list. And this is probably people that are in the government, 328 lawmakers specifically in Duma. And those are a lot of the people in 2018 that were going to ban exports of Russian uranium to the US, because 24 people were sanctioned during that time, during the 2018 period. So we're going to probably see Russia just not give up that enriched uranium in all those contracts, because they're sanctioned. And we're seeing some really weird things happen. Now, I posted this back on March 2nd. Remember, we had uranium was about 40 something bucks. And I said, when we hit that 52 mark, we're going to break out. And we did. Now we're at $60 right now. Phenomenal. Just so many things. We really got to keep an eye on uranium, because this is another thing. The SWU the ask is at $75. It actually did a $10 jump. Quakes actually was talking about this as well. This to me really tells me that there's a lot of activity, a lot of buyers coming in, and I think these long-term contracts, field buyers are getting scrambling. There are field buyers that were constantly in the last couple of years on Twitter. They've since deleted their Twitter accounts, made their pages private on their personal accounts, websites, and things like that. And it really is because we've had this black swan, golden swan event for the price of uranium. And this is another thing. I think that we now finally, I could say, we broke out of this from the bear trap into this mania phase. And this is where the media attention starts. I'm seeing media attention all over, a lot more media attention than we were getting in September. And we're not tied to that, weird Reddit, Wall Street bets type thing. This is professional traders. We saw 900,000 URA buy yesterday. So, it's, $20 plus million buy just instantly like that. Almost $30 million. So that's big. That's really big. I think we're starting to see big institutional money, at this last peak right here as we're going into it. They're really, topping up on whatever they've bought the past couple of years. And we're going to start to see this, enthusiasm grow as we go into this next round. Now, I'm going to talk some more about specifically my end on why I've changed a lot with my uranium thesis. And it's really going into U.S. producers that can get into contract, these long-term contracts very soon, get into production very soon. And, we see Russia ban this uranium, or the U.S. starts to do this very soon. It's really going to move things along. There's just so much, literally 10, 20 new things a day, positive, bullish usually for uranium. A House bill in Australia said that they could approve these small modular reactors. This obviously is great for Alaska. It's a fast track, a streamlined track for these SMRs. That's great for Alaska. Now, I'm going to go into this. So the hearing next week, real quick, we're talking about on the 31st is the critical mineral hearing for the mineral supply chain. So that's going to be big. It's going to be at 10 a.m. And last year, Westwater Resources, like I said, ran 1,800%. You're probably going to get a lot of people, if they specifically mention uranium, it's going to get big news. And I think a lot of the U.S. producers especially are going to run on that. Now, if you see here, uranium actually was not added to this, this list. So while the U.S. Geological Survey has updated the critical mineral list, DOE stated there may be materials critical to the clean energy transition that are not added to the list. So this is something pretty big. Like I said, obviously we need to watch out for. And next week's going to be that hearing. Now, everyone keeps looking. I keep refreshing this as well. We need to see if anything has happened. I don't think anything's happened yet with the Senate on this new bill to end imports of Russian uranium. So this is something that I continually 24/7 keep an eye on. And obviously, Senator Barrasso, he is from Wyoming, very bullish on uranium. And this, like I said, last week, really everything changed. I'll go into that in another video. There's just too much to cover. I'll show you video clips of that specifically. But it was phenomenal what they said. They've never really said about U.S. production. TerraPower, Bill Gates, they look to boost that HALEU fuel effort because they themselves are not going to be buying Russian uranium, they said. And as you know, Russian uranium, it's very big percentage of what the U.S., like close to 20% we import, last year. And this is really big because these long-term contracts out into 2028, they're going to have to redo these contracts. The U.S. really produced nothing, pretty much no uranium in the past couple of years, and we really don't enrich anything. They're doing an enrichment. We'll talk about that in a minute. For some HALEU, and some big things are going to change in the U.S. I call it, and I think I was really the first one to say this, the U.S. Renaissance, the United States Renaissance in uranium production and enrichment, not just production, but enrichment. So we're looking today, we're about to close in a couple minutes with Energy Fuels. This is one I've been buying up like crazy in day and swing trading. I bought this at $1 originally back in 2020, and it's just one that's very phenomenal. I think it's going to do really well. And the volatility in this is just crazy. So I've been doing really well, obviously, with Energy Fuels. And let me look at that. Went to $1.56 today, and it's down to $9.88. So the volatility in there with, pretty good volume. It's just phenomenal trade. Been doing very well. This was last year in their presentation, right? I think it was around September when they released this. And they said that, that more buyers are coming into the market. And that's true because back then, the swoop price was nothing like it is already right now, the ask. Right now, the highest projection from UXC was close to $70 bucks. And now we're 75 ask, okay? So we're just beating out all this. So this is something I'm really keeping an eye on. Centrus Energy, they had that's another one I've swung very well. It dropped down to like 29, got in on it. And I bought this originally at like 450, knowing, it was shorted to like 80 something bucks last year. Now their numbers are phenomenal, but they are tied to Russia. They're tied to that fuel, getting fuel from there, the enrichment. So they're still working on this HALEU, and the U.S. government is looking to boost, I think it's like 200 million, possibly that's what they've been asking for this enrichment. They're doing a demonstration there in Ohio. But the big thing is, all these nuclear reactors, these new ones, they need HALEU, okay? And we've talked about this before on my channel. You see all these new reactors, all of them will use HALEU. So we're going to need this Ohio plant to really up everything. It's very small, 1 to 2 reactors, this initial capacity. So we're seeing a renaissance. We're going to see a renaissance in the US specifically. And I think that stocks like this with, a $500 million market cap, unless it's going to be in multiple billions very quickly when we get things like that. When we hear the US government say that they're looking to invest tens of billions of dollars, in the next few years into this, this stuff takes years to do. So, but with Russia, their enrichment, they have 32 nations that rely on them. And I believe it's 73 reactors out of 400, plus that are relying on this Russian enrichment that could be cut off at any moment. Russia is very angry about these sanctions. Very crazy times for uranium, especially. As I've said before, there are decades in uranium where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. And in the last 2 weeks, we had tremendous bullish and very, very bearish events. Thankfully, a lot of those bearish events are done with, specifically with the reactors there in Ukraine. Crazy things, crazy history. And thankfully, all that's done. The last few things, the biggest nuclear energy producer out there is actually banning Russian uranium enrichment. It was because they really hedged their strategy. They shared out recently, and I have it here, that they were actually preparing for this. They were hedging well in advance to secure supply and avoid near-term cost. So nuclear fuel is about 20% of the operating cost, and uranium is 40% of the fuel cost, they were saying in this. Now, like I said, they were very smart, and they hedged well ahead of all of this. So that is one great thing. So obviously the government's going to be asking the biggest. They're going to say, hey, do you support this? If they support it, if the Senate, all of these people are supporting it, it's very bullish, I think, specifically for uranium to be added to the critical minerals list and for them to ban Russian imports of uranium and possibly end other contracts. Now we're looking at NASDAQ. It's down 1.4% today. Dow is down 1.3. So uranium stocks, although they're usually have been tied to oil the past few days, it's just so volatile in the market. When the market goes down, I really think we got to break out that, $60+ range. I think uranium price was about $59 on the ask today. Probably break out. I'm thinking we'll probably break out a 60 here, probably in the next week, especially if Uranium specifically is added to that list, like I said, critical minerals. And what's been great, this base here, this third base breakout on this parabolic chart, I love it. It's so phenomenal with how these technicals have been coming together with the, multiple years of fundamentals. Pretty much every uranium chart is looking the same as well now. Every uranium chart is starting to churn into this real nice cup and handle. We're getting this cup and handle here. We're getting a lot of good volume, buying volume here. So I think we're going to break out. Now, I've seen a lot of craziness. A lot of people seem to not understand what market caps are. And a lot of people are saying that they think that, obviously they're saying that Energy Fuels could get back to what it was before, which they think is $200, but obviously it's not. They had a split back in 2013. So you got to divide that. So Energy Fuels never went over $5.56. So you got to divide by that split. It's like a 1-50 split, reverse split. So, could we double? Could we go from now about $10 to $20? I think it's very possible. I think we go even higher, especially, we've seen some crazy things in the market. If you've been following my channel, you saw Westwater Resources, our trade, we went up 1,800%. That stock, very similar situation, I think. Big things going on with not only, uranium, but this company specifically, the rare earth elements, the REEs, they actually are one of the only companies in uranium specifically throughout all the producers that can do all these things that, other producers cannot do. And that's one big bullish thing. That's why I've been bullish on Energy Fuels. And it's just phenomenal seeing these cup and handle breakouts here. Just the technicals on pretty much everything. All the big uranium stocks, like I said, subtracting, like here's Denison, same thing. Subtracting the infamous Kazatomprom, not good recently. It's going to possibly see some more issues, I think, especially with Kazakhstan. A lot of sad things are actually happening with Kazakhstan recently. The tenge is down. They're having issues with the trade route. I think storm damaged one of their pipelines there, the oil. It's just a lot of things. They're going to possibly re-export goods to Russia. It's unfortunate they've done so much dealings with Russia and they depend on Russia and China. It's just going to be pretty tough, I think, out there. But we hit it's like a 10-year high plus for Cameco, since 2011. That crazy cup and handle breakout, just boom. On all these charts, looking very, very bullish. Like I said, I only use 8, maybe 11 different charts out there. And my favorite, I've always had the best trades. Like I said, I've had some 6-figure a day in swing trades. And what I like to do with specifically a sector, and I like to become a master in the fundamentals in the sector. I want to know every stock in that sector. I want to know everything about the sector. I want to cover it like a fanatic. And, I want to be able to watch every single one of those and see where things are going. And, when that happens, specifically UEC is a big one. UEC got those uranium assets, right? Uranium 1. And this stock, I did buy it March of 2020 for nothing. I think it was like 30 something cents. What was it? Like just unbelievable. But unfortunately, during a lot of shareholders were diluted. They got a very bad name. But, since they got those Uranium 1 assets, they're a producer in the US. It's been like one of the best trading stocks out there. Okay. With specifically for uranium producers. So we're going to probably see another big run. I think this is another one that could, we got the cup and handle breakout again. This is another one I think that we're going to be easily get to, a double here. So I'm very bullish. Uranium producers in America changed a lot. All that cash I had, I'm able to deploy, but I'm not establishing big long-term positions yet with the cash. Like I said, with this market, with, war, with these black swan events still going on, I am still going to swing and day trade the market and hopefully have some more 6-figure days. Today was just a 5-figure day. Yesterday was less than that. It was like a 4-figure day profit. And, I'm going to continue to do this. Uranium's where my focus is at. So I'm going to probably only be doing uranium videos on this, channel still. And I'm very excited to see where things are going. And one of the last few things we'll talk about, the overall market. I showed you the NASDAQ. We're seeing a big drawdown, I think, similar, like I said, back in January to the invasion of Kuwait. And that was a 17% drawdown for the market in 1990. Now, it took 71 days to bottom and 189 days to recover. Now, in this market, it's supercharged. Everything's probably going to be cut in half, and it's probably going to be more exaggerated. Now, we were down, almost 20% in the NASDAQ, and now we're still down about 12%. So we still have a lot of room to go back down. If that was a dead cat bounce and, war tension things continue, it could bring things down like today, could bring some, even uranium stocks, such a small sector, we could see some more volatility. Normally in the last few days, like I said, uranium has been trading with commodities, with oil. It's kind of pegged to this sector. But, we've just seen such volatility. I think people are starting to realize and kind of get worried in some ways in a lot of these commodities that it could just be, one day it could be up, we could be, the next day, things can be halted, like the LME, nickel, which, has a limit of 15%. It's insanity. Uranium, thankfully, won't be like that. It's actual uranium they have out there. Swap the names on the barrels. So thankfully, it's not going to be too crazy like that. But on my uranium stock sheet, you can see here, I've since updated a lot of these companies, and really these US producers are still in the top tier. Now I give them a score here, and how many pounds they have, they get a score. The higher, the better, obviously. And, I've moved things around. But if you want access to those sheets, the Discord, as you can see here, all these channels, things are updated instantly. With uranium, people are able to get ahead, this info usually a lot faster than most of the markets get. I have a bunch of channels that automatically will put stuff in there before even like Quakes or any of them get it out there. So it's a great place to search. 150,000 posts in my Discord. It's a private Discord. This is stuff I've put in there, stuff I've posted, automatic posts, like I said, for uranium and the overall market in general. This is also a place where you can get a hold of me as well. So if you guys want access to that, link in the description below. Are you guys bullish uranium? Let me know below. Do you think next week uranium is going to be added to the critical minerals list? And are we going to ban it, or is Russia going to ban it first?